Hello students, welcome to my channel Hans Commerce Tutorial for the lectures on commerce, accounts, finance and management. My suggestion to you, before watching the video, please go to the description below my video. You'll find a link there. Take a printout of the problems given in the link and keep it ready before watching the video so that you can be able to understand the problem, the solution and the explanation to get the maximum benefit from the lectures. Thank you. Come on, now we'll start problem number 9. See the problem number 9. On March 31st, 2005, the balance sheet of a limited company disclosed the following position. So balance sheet is given, that is equity and liabilities, shareholders fund, share capital 4 lakh, reserves and surplus 1 lakh 10,000, long-term borrowings 5%, debentures 1 lakh, current liability 1 lakh 30,000. So two outside liabilities are there, 5% debentures and current liabilities. Assets, tangible assets, intangible assets, that's all. Current assets are given. Notes, share capital 40,000, equity share of 10 each, fully paid. So only equity, we don't have preference. Reserves. Then on March 31st, 2005, the fixed assets were independently valued at rupees 3,50,000. So actually balance sheet mein fixed assets 5 lakh diya. Tangible fixed assets are 5 lakh. But in the adjustment it is given, the present value is 3,50,000. So we take 3,50,000 and goodwill 50,000. The net profit for the 3 years were, see here, balance sheet is given and net profits are also given. That means in this problem, we have to calculate both intrinsic value and yield value. Balance sheet से जो value मालूम करेंगे वो intrinsic value और profit से जो मालूम करेंगे yield value. The net profit for the 3 years are 2003 51,600, 2004 52,000, 2005 51,650. So profits are fluctuating, so we calculate simple average profit. 20% of which was placed to reserve. So in this company there is a policy to transfer 20% of profit every year to reserves. तो पहले एवरेज प्रॉफिट मालूम करेंगे, उसमें से 20% रिजर्व को ट्रांसफर कर देंगे. तो रिमेनिंग प्रॉफिट इज द प्रॉफिट अवेलेबल फॉर इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स. This proportion being considered reasonable in the industry in which the company is engaged and where a fair investment return may be taken at 10%. This is NRR. Compute the value of the company's share by net assets method and the yield method. So in this problem we have to apply both the methods. Net assets method means intrinsic value method. See the solution carefully. Calculation of intrinsic value of share. Fixed assets 3,50,000, realizable value given. Current assets, balance sheet value we have taken. Goodwill, adjustment it is given. So total of assets 6 lakh. Outside liabilities are 5% debentures and current liability total. So subtract assets minus liabilities, will get shareholders fund 2,70,000. Shareholders means all the shareholders, equity and preference. Agar preference raha to. Then less preferential capital, we don't have any preferential capital. So preferential capital raha to minus karenge. Then 3,70,000 equity shareholders fund. This is the amount available for equity shareholders. Now intrinsic value per share. The formula is equity shareholders fund divided by number of equity shares. So 3,70,000 divided by 40,000, 9.25 is the intrinsic value of share. So half of the answer completed. Now yield value, calculation of yield value of share. Profits are given, simple average profit we calculate, add up the 3 profits, divide by 3. We got the average profit 51,650. From 51,650 transfer to reserve 20% of this amount 10,350. So remaining is the profit available for dividend. ये प्रॉफिट अवेलेबल है किसके लिए? शेयर होल्डर्स के लिए डिविडेंड के फॉर्म में. तो एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ रिटर्न is equal to profit available divided by equity share capital into 100. In the previous problems also we have done the same thing. There is nothing new. So profit available 41,400 divided by equity share capital is given in the balance sheet. Note number 1, 4 lakh. So 10.35% is the yield value of share. Yield value, expected rate of return. 10.35% is the expected rate of return. Now yield value per share is equal to expected rate of return divided by normal rate of return into paid up value per share. The expected rate of return 10.35%. Normal rate of return is given in the last line. Other firms how much return they are earning, 10%. and the paid up value per share is 10 rupees given in the notes. So 10 will get cancelled, 10.35 rupees 10.35 is the yield value of share. So we have calculated intrinsic value, we have calculated yield value. Next, problem number 10. See the problem number 10. Following is the balance sheet of Ravi Limited as on 31st March 1995. The share capital 10 lakh, reserves and surplus 5 lakh 80,000. Trade payable, other current liabilities, bank overdraft. So we are given outside liabilities are 5 lakh trade payable or bank overdraft 5 lakh. ये दो outside liabilities. Non-current assets, fixed assets tangible are 13 lakh 50,000. And other non-current assets 20,000 are preliminary expenses, should not be considered. Then current assets, inventory, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent. That's all. Balance sheet given. Now notes forming part of financial statements. Share capital में 1 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each fully paid. This is the share capital. We don't have preference. We have only equity. Then reserves and surplus, general reserve, P&L account, ignore. Tangible assets, machinery, factory shed, vehicle, furniture. ये tangible assets जो प्रॉब्लम में बैलेंस शीट में दिया 13,50,000, उसका ब्रेकअप दे रहा है. उसमें क्या क्या चीजें इंक्लूडेड है? मशीनरी है, फैक्ट्री शेड है, व्हीकल है, फर्नीचर. ये चारों का टोटल 13,50,000. The following additional information is furnished. Machinery and factory shed are worth 30% above their book value. मशीनरी और फैक्ट्री शेड में 30% वैल्यू इंक्रीज करेंगे, ऐड करेंगे. अप्रिसिएशन, depreciation on appreciated value of machinery and factory shed is not to be considered for valuation of goodwill and share. जब मशीन का वैल्यू अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं तो जो भी अप्रिशिएटेड वैल्यू है उसका डिप्रिसिएशन को इग्नोर कर दो. उसी तरह फैक्ट्री शेड के वैल्यू को भी 30% अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं तो जितना भी अप्रिशिएटेड वैल्यू आ रहा उसके ऊपर डिप्रिसिएशन इग्नोर कर दो रिगार्डिंग कैलकुलेशन ऑफ गुडविल एंड कैलकुलेशन ऑफ शेयर्स स्पेसिफिकली गिवन इन द प्रॉब्लम. For the purpose of valuation of shares, goodwill is to be considered on the basis of 4 years purchase of super profit method. तो ये comprehensive problem हो गया, 2-in-1 problem हो गया. We have to calculate the goodwill and also we have to calculate the value of share. तो goodwill कौन सा method से? Super profit method. तो goodwill का formula, goodwill is equal to average profit into super profit into number of years of purchase. Goodwill is equal to super profit into number of years of purchase. And super profit is equal to FMP minus NP. तो ये सारी चीजें हमको मालूम करना है गुडविल मालूम करने के लिए. Super profit based on average profit after tax for the last 3 years. Profits for the last 3 years are after tax. For the year ended 31st March 93, 2,60,000. 94, 3,50,000. 95, 2,90,000. Profits are fluctuating. So we calculate simple average profit. In a similar business, return on capital employed is 15% after tax. This is the NRR. Find out the value of each equity share on net assets method. Net assets method we have to find out. That is intrinsic value. First of all, we have to calculate the value of goodwill. देखिए, calculation of the value of goodwill by super profit method. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मशीनरी, बैलेंस शीट में मशीनरी का वैल्यू 8 लाख रुपीस दिया और एडजस्टमेंट में कह रहा है कि 30% वैल्यू इंक्रीज कर दो. तो 8 लाख रुपीस का 30% 2,40,000. तो 2,40,000 बढ़ा दो उसमें. 8 लाख प्लस 2,40,000 10,40,000. फैक्ट्री शेड 3 लाख रुपीस बैलेंस शीट में दे दिया, उसका 30% इंक्रीज 90,000 रुपीस इंक्रीज करो 3,90,000. व्हीकल, फर्नीचर, स्टॉक, डेटार्स, बैंक सेम वैल्यूज जो बैलेंस शीट में दिया. Total of the assets 28,90,000. Outside liability, bank overdraft, creditors. Only two outside liability 10 lakh. Minus कर दो capital employed. Capital employed is 18,90,000. तो normal profit का formula है capital employed into NRR, normal rate of it. तो 18,90,000 into 15%, 2,83,500. This is the normal profit. Super profit मालूम करने के लिए हमको normal profit चाहिए. आ गया. Now FMP मालूम. Future maintainable profit. Average profit of the last 3 years 3 lakh. 3 lakh rupees is the average profit. और जो भी average profit रहे वही FMP होगा. और super profit is equal to FMP minus NP. 3 lakh rupees is the FMP, 283,500 is the NP. Minus कर दो 16,500 is the super profit. अब सुपर प्रॉफिट आने के बाद गुडविल मालूम करेंगे. सुपर प्रॉफिट इंटू नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स ऑफ परचेज, 4 years. प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया 4 years परचेज, तो 16,500 into 4, goodwill is 66,000. So one value we got goodwill 66,000. Now calculation of intrinsic value. Goodwill 66,000 अभी मालूम कर लिए. अब मशीनरी, फैक्ट्री, शेड वगैरह ये सारे वैल्यूज सेम वैल्यूज वी हैव टू कॉपी डाउन. ये पूरे वैल्यूज मशीनरी 10,40,000, फैक्ट्री शेड 3,90,000. Then take all these 2,50,000, 4,00,000, 750, 60. Then the total of the assets are 29,56,000. Outside liabilities are to bank overdraft creditors. Subtract. We'll get 19,56,000 shareholders fund. This is the shareholders fund. Less preferential capital. We don't have preferential capital. तो बचा हुआ जो अमाउंट आएगा 19,56,000 that the equity shareholders fund. पहले शेयर होल्डर्स फंड आता. शेयर होल्डर्स फंड का मतलब पूरे शेयर होल्डर्स, इक्विटी, प्रेफरेंस सब मिलाकर. उसमें से प्रेफरेंस को निकाल दिया तो बचेगा क्या? इक्विटी. तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड 19,56,000. नाउ इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू पर शेयर, इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स. तो 19,56,000 डिवाइड बाय 1,00,000, 19.56. दिस इज द इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर. तो द मेन कॉम्प्लिकेशन इन दिस प्रॉब्लम इज वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट द वैल्यू ऑफ गुडविल according to super profit method. Then we have to calculate the intrinsic value of share. So this is the end of problem number 10. Come on, now we'll start problem number 11. See the problem number 11. From the following balance sheet of J. Adams Company Limited as on 31st December 1994, compute the value of its equity share by capitalization of earnings method. This capitalization of earnings method means yield method. Earnings का मतलब होता है profit. तो profit के ऊपर जो based method है उसको yield method कहते हैं. तो we don't require balance sheet figures. We need only profit figures. So what is given in the information given in the problem? Balance sheet is given. We don't require capital, reserves and surplus, long-term borrowings, current assets, current liabilities, all these things. Next, debentures are issued at par on 1st January 1990 and redeemable at par. So for the year ending 31st December, particulars are given. Sales. 5 years data is given: 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94. So 5 years data is given. What data? Sales are given. So we have taken the sales. We have taken the sales for the 5 years. Then costs. The costs are given: expenses, interest on loan, interest on debentures. So 3 types of costs are given. Expenses are given, interest on loan is given, interest on debenture is given. जैसा प्रॉब्लम में इंफॉर्मेशन दिया, जितना अमाउंट दिया, सेम अमाउंट I have copied for 5 years. Now A is the sales and B is the total cost. और सेल्स में से टोटल कॉस्ट को निकाल देंगे तो विल गेट प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स, ए माइनस बी. ए इज सेल्स एंड बी इज द टोटल कॉस्ट. तो ए माइनस बी, सेल्स माइनस टोटल कॉस्ट इज द प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स. नाउ प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स में से लेस टैक्स एट 50% गिवन इन द प्रॉब्लम. इनकम टैक्स रेट 50% एज्यूम करो. 50% ऑफ 5 लाख 2,50,000, 50% ऑफ 4,50,000 2,25,000. तो पूरे प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स के ऊपर 50% कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे. माइनस कर दो profit before tax minus tax, will get profit after tax. So we need profit after tax for all the 5 years. पूरे 5 साल का profit after tax आ गया. Take the total. ये पूरा का add up करते जाओ. 2,50,000 plus 225 plus 360. ये पूरे 5 amounts का total amount 14,10,000. Total profit. Average profit मालूम करना है तो 14,10,000 divided by 5 will get 2,82,000. This is the average profit. Now we don't require all this data. ये पूरा डाटा को यूज करके हम मालूम कर लिए एवरेज प्रॉफिट. नाउ एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ रिटर्न इज इक्वल टू एवरेज प्रॉफिट डिवाइड बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल इनटू 100. दिस इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ रिटर्न. तो एवरेज प्रॉफिट 14, एवरेज प्रॉफिट इतना 2,82,000 डिवाइड बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल 5 लाख. नाउ यू कैन सी द बैलेंस शीट. बैलेंस शीट में शेयर कैपिटल 5 लाख रुपीस है. Into 100, 56.4% is the expected rate of return. Now easily we can find out the yield value. Yield value of share is equal to expected rate of return divided by NRR into paid up value per share. तो expected rate of return 56.4 है, or NRR, normal rate of return given in the problem, 14.5%. And the paid up value per share is 10 rupees. You can see the balance sheet. Share capital में देखिए एक शेयर कितने का है, 10 rupees. So now simplified, 45.12 is the yield value of share. The value of share according to earning capitalization method. Now, 12th problem. See the problem number 12. The following is the balance sheet of Mahesh Company Limited on 31st December 96. Share capital 2,30,000. Reserves and surplus, trade payable. तो outside liability खाली एक ही है, trade payable. Non-current assets, fixed assets, tangible assets 2 lakh. Other non-current assets, preliminary expenses 10,000. We should not take. Then current assets 1,30,000 will take. Share capital अब carefully देखिए, यहाँ पर new point है. Share capital में 10,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each fully paid, 1 lakh. 10,000 equity share of 10 each, rupees 8 per share paid and called up, 80,000. 10,000 equity share of 10 each, rupees 5 per share called and paid up, 50,000. तो ये प्रॉब्लम में 3 टाइप के इक्विटी शेयर्स है. हम उसको सिंप्लीफाई कर देंगे, क्लास ए, क्लास बी, क्लास सी. क्लास ए 10,000 शेयर्स ऑफ रुपीज 10 each फुल्ली पेड, यानी 10,000 शेयर्स ऐसे हैं, 10 रुपए का एक शेयर है, कंपनी पूरे 10 रुपए कॉल कर ली, कुछ भी अनकॉल्ड नहीं है, इसको फुल्ली पेड अप शेयर कहते हैं. तो 10,000 इंटू 10, 1 लाख, तो 1 लाख ए क्लास हो गया. अब बी क्लास में 10,000 इक्विटी शेयर ऑफ 10 ईच, बट द कंपनी हैज कॉल्ड अप 8 रुपीज पर शेयर. कंपनी अभी तक जो कॉल करी है 8 रुपये कॉल करी, 2 रुपये अनकॉल्ड है, अभी कॉल नहीं करी कंपनी, इसको पार्टली पेड अप शेयर. देन सी क्लास में 10,000 इक्विटी शेयर ऑफ रुपीज 10 ईच, रुपीज 5 पर शेयर कॉल्ड अप, पेड अप. तो 10 रुपए के शेयर में कंपनी कॉल करी है 5 रुपये, शेयर होल्डर पे कर दिया 5 रुपये, अभी 5 रुपए पे नहीं हुए. तो ए क्लास इज फुल्ली कॉल्ड एंड पेड अप शेयर्स, बी एंड सी आर पार्टली कॉल्ड एंड पेड अप शेयर्स. That is the new point. Then reserves and surplus we don't require. The normal average profit of the company after tax will be maintained at 46,000. The normal profit is given. Then a normal rate of return, NRR 8%. Calculate the value of each type of equity share by asset backing method. Asset backing method means intrinsic value method and yield basis method. तो दोनों मेथड से कैलकुलेट करना है, intrinsic value as well as yield value, excluding goodwill. Goodwill को छोड़. Now, first of all, whenever we have different classes of shares, fully paid up and partly paid up, we have to make a notional call. ये theory का वीडियो जो बनाया था मैं, first video, introduction to this valuation of shares, in that explanation I have given how to calculate the value of the share when we have partly paid up and fully paid up share. अगर कोई कंपनी में fully paid up भी है और partly paid up भी है, तो ऐसे situation में what is the procedure? First of all, we have to convert the partly paid shares into fully paid up shares by making a notional call. एक imaginary call, एक imagine करना कि जो partly paid share है वो भी fully paid convert कर लिया, पैसे आ गए उसके. Imagine करना कि पैसे आ गए. Now एक पूरे एक ही क्लास के शेयर हो गए fully paid up share. A क्लास, B क्लास, C क्लास पूरे fully paid up share, क्योंकि जो पैसे आने का था वो भी आ गए, ये assume करना, right? So how to calculate the value of share? See here. Calculation of intrinsic value per share. Assets, fixed assets are given 2 lakh, current assets 1,30,000. Notional call on partly paid shares. Imaginary. Notional का मतलब होता है imaginary. Imagine करो कि 10,000 shares के ऊपर 2 रुपये आने का था और आ गए. Notional call receive कर लिए. 20,000 rupees are received. और 10,000 shares के ऊपर 5 रुपये आने का था, वो 5 रुपये भी कॉल कर ली कंपनी, 50,000 आ गए. अब कोई अलग अलग शेयर्स नहीं है, कंपनी के पास 30,000 शेयर्स है, एक शेयर 10 रुपए का है और शेयर होल्डर पूरे 10 रुपए पे कर दिया. ये इमेजिन करना. नाउ टोटल ऑफ द एसेट्स 4 लाख, आउटसाइड लायबिलिटी क्रेडिटर 10,000, शेयर होल्डर्स फंड 3,90,000. वी डोंट हैव प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल, तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड इज 3,90,000. यहां तक पॉइंट क्लियर होगा, सिर्फ यही पॉइंट न्यू, नो शो. Now, intrinsic value of each share is equal to equity shareholders fund divided by total number of equity shares. अब कंपनी के पास टोटल शेयर्स कितने हैं? ए क्लास में 10,000 है, बी क्लास में 10,000, सी क्लास में 10,000, 30,000 शेयर्स आते हैं. तो 3,90,000 डिवाइड बाय 30,000 शेयर्स, 13 रुपीज पर शेयर. एक शेयर का इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू आ गया 13 रुपीज, 13. अब अलग अलग मालूम करेंगे। क्लास ए में फुल्ली पेड अप शेयर, क्लास ए में 10,000 शेयर से 10 रुपए का एक शेयर है और फुल्ली कॉल्ड एंड पेड अप है, तो उसका इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू आएगा 13 रुपीज। ये 13 रुपीज जो है ये फुल्ली कॉल्ड एंड पेड अप शेयर का वैल्यू आ गया। अब बी क्लास में 10,000 शेयर है, 10 रुपये का एक है, लेकिन कंपनी कॉल करी 8 रुपीज। अभी कितना कॉल करना है? 2 रुपीज कॉल करना है। ये इमेजिन करे थे खाली, रियल तो कॉल रिसीव नहीं करे। ये शेयर का वैल्यू मालूम करने के लिए इमेजिनरी कॉल था, ये नोशनल कॉल रिसीव्ड बोल के लिख दिए, लेकिन रियलिटी में रिसीव नहीं करे। कितना पैसा आने का है? 2 रुपया आने का है, तो 13 रुपीज में से 2 रुपीज निकाल दो, 8 रुपीज पेड अप है। क्लास बी पार्टली पेड अप शेयर 8 रुपीज पेड अप, तो 2 रुपीज अनकॉल्ड है, तो 13 में से 2 निकाल दो, 11 रुपीज इज द इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू फॉर बी क्लास शेयर। अब सी क्लास शेयर पार्टली पेड अप शेयर ₹5 पेड अप, पार्टली पेड अप शेयर ₹5 पेड अप, 5 रुपये पे करे और 5 रुपये आने का है, तो इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू ऑफ फुल्ली पेड अप शेयर 13 रुपीज लेस अनकॉल्ड अमाउंट पर शेयर 5 रुपीज, तो 13 minus 5 you will get 8. So 8 rupees is the intrinsic value for C class. So in this way we have calculated the intrinsic value for A class, B class, C class. A class के लिए intrinsic value 13 rupees, B class के लिए 11 rupees और C class के लिए 8 rupees. Half of the answer is completed. Now second yield method. Calculation of yield value per share. Profit after tax 46,000 problem में दे दिया। Then total equity share capital, इस वक्त total of equity share capital, तो बैलेंस शीट में देखिए A क्लास का equity share capital 1 लाख है, B 80,000 है, C 50,000, total equity share capital 2,30,000. Paid up capital, equity paid up capital 2,30,000. Now expected rate of return is equal to PAT divided by total capital employed. 46,000 divided by 2,30,000 into 100, 20%. We got the expected rate of return 20%. Now yield value per share का फॉर्मूला ERR, expected rate of return divided by NRR, normal rate of return into paid up value per share. अब ERR अभी मालूम कर लिए 20%, NRR प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया 12.5, प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया 8%. In the problem it is given normal rate of return 8%. और paid up value तो it is given in the problem. Class A fully paid up share ₹10. 10 रुपए का शेयर है, कंपनी पूरे 10 रुपए कॉल कर ली, तो पेड अप 10 रुपीज, तो yield value is equal to 20, ERR 20, NRR 8 प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया, और पेड अप वैल्यू 10 रुपीज है, तो 20 डिवाइड बाय 8 into 10, 25 रुपीज इज द yield value for A class of share. For B class partly paid up share 8 रुपीज, 8 रुपये पे करे, 2 रुपये पे नहीं करे, उसका yield value is equal to 20 by 8 into 8, 20 rupees. Then C class partly paid up share where the shareholder has paid only 5 rupees. So 20 divided by 8 into 5, 12.5. This is the yield value of all the 3 classes of shares. So in this problem the new point is some shares are fully paid up and some shares are partly paid up. तो intrinsic value मालूम करने के लिए जो partly paid up shares है उसको भी fully paid up बनाना by making a notional call, imaginary call. That's it. This is the completion of problem number 12. Come on, now we'll start problem number 13. See the 13th problem. The following information is obtained from the books of Rising Star Company as on 31st December. 20,000 A equity shares of 10 each fully paid 2 lakh. 20,000 B equity shares of 10 each 7.5 per share called and paid up 1,50,000. 20,000 C equity share of 10 each ₹5 paid and called and paid up 1 lakh. So 3 classes of shares A, B, C. A class fully called and paid up, 10 रुपए का शेयर है, कंपनी पूरे 10 रुपए कॉल कर ली, शेयर होल्डर पे कर दिया. सेकेंड बी क्लास में 20,000 शेयर है, 10 रुपीज का है, लेकिन कंपनी हैज कॉल्ड अप ओनली 7.5. अभी 2 रुपीज 50 पैसा कंपनी कॉल नहीं करी, इसको पार्टली पेड अप शेयर. और सी क्लास में 20,000 शेयर्स ऑफ ₹10 each, but the company has called up only 5. Still 5 rupees have to be called in future. तो first A class fully called and paid up, B और C class partly called and paid up. General reserve, liability to sundry parties, fixed assets less depreciation, floating assets. Floating assets means current assets. Preliminary expenses and commission on issue of shares. These two are fictitious asset. We should not take. ये दोनों को ले लेंगे, preliminary expense और commission on issue of shares. It is estimated that the normal average profit less tax, and after deducting tax, of the company will be maintained at 72,000. This is a profit after tax. And the expected rate of capitalization purpose is 8%. Normal rate of return. Calculate the value of each type of share by assets backing method. Assets backing method means intrinsic value method, net assets method, excluding goodwill. चलिए goodwill को छोड़ देना. And also by the earning capacity method. Earning capacity method means yield method. Earning capacity method is the yield method. Assume dividends are declared on paid up capital. This is the problem. Now, first of all, we'll take calculation of intrinsic value of equity share. Fixed assets 3,34,000, floating assets 4,66,000. Notional call on partly paid shares 20,000 shares of rupees 2.5, 50,000. 20,000 shares of 5 rupees 1 lakh. Then total assets 9,50,000. Outside liability में liability to sundry partners 1,10,000. So shareholders funds 8,40,000. So ultimately equity shareholders funds are 8,40,000. Now intrinsic value of each equity share is equity shareholders fund divided by number of equity shares. Same formula will apply. So 8,40,000 divided by 60,000 will get 14 rupees as the intrinsic value. Now class A, 3 classes we have. Class A fully paid up share rupees 10 paid up. जो fully paid up share है उसका intrinsic value 14 rupees. ये जो 14 rupees है fully paid share. अब partly class B में partly paid share 7 रुपये 50 पैसा paid up. 10 rupees के share में 7 रुपये 50 पैसे पे कर दी. तो remaining 2 रुपये 50 पैसा निकाल देना. तो intrinsic value of fully paid up share 14 rupees है. उसमें से uncalled amount अभी तक कंपनी कॉल नहीं करी 2 रुपये 50 पैसा निकाल देंगे. So this is the procedure of finding out the intrinsic value of the share when some classes of shares are fully paid up and some class of shares are partly paid up. तो पहले notional call करना, imaginary call. इससे पहले क्या problem? Previous problem also we have done the same thing. तो imaginary call assume करके कि 20,000 shares के ऊपर 2 रुपये 50 पैसा आ गया और 20,000 shares के ऊपर 5 rupees भी आ गए. तो we are converting the partly paid shares into fully paid. Now ये हो गया intrinsic value. 11 rupee 50 paisa is the intrinsic value for partly paid share on which 7 rupee 50 paisa is paid. Now class C, partly paid shares 5 rupees paid. 10 rupees में से 5 rupees pay कर दिए. तो intrinsic value of fully paid share 14 rupees, उसमें uncalled amount 5 rupees. तो 9 rupees is the intrinsic value of C class share. तो A class share 14 rupees, B 11.5, C 9. Now yield method. Profit after tax is given 72,000 rupees and total equity capital. So you can see the balance sheet, how much is the values are given. So equity capital 2 lakh rupees A class का है, 1,50,000 B class है, 1 lakh rupees C class. So total capital, paid up capital is 4,50,000. So ERR, expected rate of return 72,000 by 4,50,000 into 100, 16% is the ERR. Now easily we can find out the yield value. ERR divided by NRR into paid up value per share. Now class A, fully paid up share 10 rupees. So yield value is equal to 16% ERR or NRR 8% problem में दे दिया. It is given in the problem. 10 rupees paid up value. So 20 rupees is the yield value for A class. For B class, partly paid up shares 7 rupee 50 पैसा paid up. तो इसके लिए yield value 16 by 8. ये तो same है. Expected rate of return 16%, NRR 8%. Paid up value यहाँ पर 7.5 हो गया. तो yield value 15 rupees. C class 16 by 8 into 5 rupees paid up, 10 rupees. That's all. So this is the same problem what we have done in the previous problem also. Some shares are partly paid up, some shares are fully paid up. This is the procedure of calculating intrinsic value and yield value. Now 14th problem. See the 14th one, it's a small problem. From the following information, calculate the value of equity share. 2,010% preference shares of rupees 100 each, 2 lakh. 2 lakh rupees preference share capital. 50,000 equity share of 10 each, rupees 8 per share paid up, 4 lakh. 50,000 equity share, एक शेयर 10 रुपये का है लेकिन कंपनी कॉल्ड अप करी है only 8 rupees. Expected profits per year before tax 3 lakh. Income tax rate 20%. Transfer to general reserve every year 20% of profit. Normal rate of earnings 15%. NRR 15%. So from this information we can apply only yield method. We cannot apply intrinsic value because balance sheet values are not given. Calculation of yield value per share. Expected profit per year before tax 3 lakh rupees given in the problem. Tax rate 50%. So 3 lakh ka 50%, 1,50,000. Profit after tax 1,50,000. Transfer to reserve 20%. It is given in the problem every year 20% of profit will be transferred to reserves. So 20% of 1,50,000, 30,000 is transferred. So 1,20,000. Preference dividend 10% of 2,20,000. So profit available for equity dividend is 1 lakh. 1 lakh रुपए profit available है किसके लिए? Equity dividend के लिए. With the help of this we can find out ERR. ERR is equal to profit available divided by equity share capital. Profit available 1 lakh है और equity share capital 4 lakh rupees. Just now we have read 100, 20%, 25% ERR. Now yield value is equal to ERR divided by NRR into paid up value. ERR 25% है और NRR प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया 15% एंड पेड अप वैल्यू पर शेयर 8 रुपीज. 10 रुपये का शेयर है लेकिन कंपनी कॉल्ड एंड पेड अप 8 रुपीज. तो 13.33 is the yield value per share. Now we'll come to the 15th problem. 15th one. R. Divakar holds 5,000 equity shares in Hindustan Limited. The paid up capital of which is 30,000 equity share of 1 rupee each. तो एक शेयर होल्डर है दिवाकर, उसके पास 5,000 शेयर है हिंदुस्तान लिमिटेड के और हिंदुस्तान लिमिटेड में टोटल इक्विटी शेयर्स 30,000 है, 1 रुपये का एक शेयर. It is ascertained that the normal annual net profit of the company is 5,000. Every year on an average 5,000 rupees profit the company earns. And the normal return for the type of business carried on by the company is 8% NRR. Sri Divakar required you to value his shareholdings based upon the above figures. अब दिवाकर ये चाह रहा कि मैं जो शेयर्स खरीदा हूं उसका वैल्यू क्या है. तो अगेन वी कैन फाइंड आउट द यील्ड वैल्यू. इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू वी कांट कैलकुलेट. एसेट्स लायबिलिटीज आर नॉट गिवन. प्रॉफिट्स आर गिवन. ERR is equal to average profit by equity capital into 100. Average profit is given 5,000 and equity share capital is 30,000 shares of ₹1 each. 30,000 shares से एक शेयर 1 रुपये का है तो 30,000 into 1, 30,000 rupees is the share capital into 100. 16.67 is the ERR. Then yield value ERR by NRR into paid up value. 16.67 divided by 8 into 1. 2.08 is the yield value of shares. Next, 16th problem. From the following information, calculate the value of equity share. The paid up share capital of the company consists of 1,015% preference share of ₹100 each. So 1,000 shares of ₹100 each, यानी 1 lakh rupees के shares है, preference shares, and 20,000 equity share of 10 rupees each. So 20,000 into 10, 2 lakh rupees equity share capital. The average annual profit of the company after providing for depreciation and taxation amounted to 75,000. It is considered necessary to transfer 10,000 rupees to general reserve before declaring any dividend. तो जो भी एवरेज प्रॉफिट है उसमें से पहले ट्रांसफर टू रिजर्व 10,000 कर देना, उसके बाद जो प्रॉफिट आएगा वो प्रॉफिट डिविडेंड के लिए अवेलेबल है. The normal return expected by investors on equity share from the type of business carried on by the company is 10%. This is the NRR. Very easy problem, small problem. Average amount annual profits. Average annual profit 75,000 is given. Transfer to reserve every year 10,000 rupees are transferred to reserves. निकाल दो 10,000, 65,000. Less preference dividend. Preference dividend 15% rate है, 1 lakh rupees का preferential capital है. Then 15,000 rupees will be the preference dividend paid. Deduct preference dividend, you will get profit available for equity shareholders. So 50,000 rupees is the profit remaining available for equity shareholders. Expected rate of return ERR, profit available divided by equity share capital into 100. 50,000 profit available है और 2 lakh rupees का equity share capital है. 20,000 shares of ₹10 each. 25% is the ERR. Now yield value is equal to ERR by NRR into paid up value. ERR 25% we got. NRR problem में दे दिया 10% and face value, paid up value of each share is 10 rupees. So ultimately the yield value of the share is 25 rupees. So this is the end of problem number 16.